The following is a presentation of the Pro Wrestling Report. Informative, entertaining, and real since 1998.
I'm the Boogeyman, and I'm coming to get you.
Right now on the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night, WWE Hell in a Cell is in the record books. We have a brand new WWE and World Heavyweight Champion. We'll discuss all of the details surrounding those victories, including the future of Daniel Bryan after losing at last Sunday's pay-per-view. This past Monday night, Damian Sandow cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase, but was he successful? Find out here tonight. Is TNA Wrestling up for sale? Reports are circulating that the company is looking for buyers. We've got the exclusive details right here on this very special Halloween edition of the Pro Wrestling Report primetime Saturday night, which will include the Event Center Hot News. What are you doing?
It's Halloween edition. I brought you a costume, yo.
Little things and more. All that and more right now, right here on My 24 Milwaukee.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime TV, the longest-running pro wrestling news program in the world, with your hosts, David Hero and Damian Nelson.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report, Primetime Saturday night. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside David Octavius Tiberius, the legend, back here, and one-time knockout straight-edge Divas Hardcore Hall of Famer Hero, and welcome.
Yes.
To our post-Halloween or our Halloween weekend edition of the Pro Wrestling Report. What are you dressed as? I'm a pimp, obviously.
You can't
Thank you
tell.
for the hat, by the way.
You
I like
can't
this.
tell what I'm dressed as?
No, I have no idea. What is this? You got your little leather vest there?
I am.
A little mousse in your hair?
I am
little mirror ass?
I am the head conductor of the Dixieland train. You can't tell?
That hat looks like something you put on a Mr. Potato Head.
Well, I took it off yours, Spuds.
Where'd you get that shirt? Did you buy that?
Dixie sent this to me.
Really? After all the hate you've spewed?
After I made her Star of the Week, the Robert Hack Diamond of the Week. Yes. Came in a FedEx box and said thank you. I got some free gum out of the whole deal.
Let's get right down to it, ladies and gentlemen, and go to this week's pay-per-view report.
Choo-choo.
And as you know, last Sunday, WWE Hell in a Cell emanated from Miami, Florida. Going into this pay-per-view, we knew there would be 2 Hell in a Cell matchups and 2 championships, major championships, on the line. Firstly, the returning John Cena took on Alberto Del Rio in a matchup for the World Heavyweight Championship. I don't know if there was any doubt going into this one, David Hero, that the outcome would be any different than what it was. And that is the new World Heavyweight Champion is John Cena.
It had to be. The way they had it set up, the way they had all those vignettes, the way they showed John Cena training, saying his prayers, taking his vitamins in his home gym with the doctor's office, the comeback, the road back to the ring, told the story right there. And yes, he was going up against the dastardly Alberto Del Rio, the only guy that John Cena could have a match in who would get booed more than John Cena was ADR. John Cena leaves the world champion.
Solid matchup going into this one. You said that Alberto Del Rio needs to work on the arm, the injured arm of John Cena, and he did.
And he did, because, you know, any good bad guy knows you work on the injured area, and that was the arm of John Cena.
Next matchup for a major championship was that for the WWE Championship. It was Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan. The Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels was the special guest referee in this matchup. It was held in the confines of the Hell in a Cell. A solid matchup, however, a little bit of an underwhelming matchup, I would say, from those two throughout the match until the point where the referee, Shawn Michaels, got knocked down. Triple H so concerned about his friend Shawn that he has He has the cell opened up, and he goes in to check on Shawn, which leads to the double knee to the face of Triple H. Sweet chin music from HBK to Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan down, Orton with the cover. 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton is not only the face of WWE, but he is also the new WWE Champion.
And you had to figure that somehow or another, Shawn Michaels would get involved, Triple H would get involved. Even though Shawn Michaels was one of the guys that helped train and start Daniel Bryan, doesn't mean he's going to side with him. I mean, best friends, BFFs, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, you saw it coming. The writing was on the wall. And unfortunately, in my opinion, and I talked about this a few months ago back at SummerSlam, Daniel Bryan has now been Ricky Steamboated. Top babyface, gets a big push. Now, carpet pull out from underneath him. Back to mid-card.
I think what's most notable about that is the time in which he was top babyface. He filled a gap, basically. He filled a void, basically. That void being the absence of John Cena. And the question, especially after what happened this past Monday night on Raw, which we'll get to in a bit as it pertains to Daniel Bryan, the question that need to be asked is, if he was that good, if he got the audience behind him, yes, for those few months when John Cena was gone, how can he not continue in that role going forward?
Because of live events.
Okay.
Live events, house shows were down across the board on both Raw and SmackDown events. SmackDown TV tapings were down. You had to bring back the savior. You had to bring back the golden goose, and that's John Cena. John Cena, now the world champion, going to spend more time on the SmackDown brand, is going to help rebuild Friday nights on Sci-Fi.
You see the results for all the matchups from WWE Hell in a Cell scrolling at the bottom of your screen, but there's another match worth discussing, David Hero, and that was the opening contest.
That was the main event.
It was a tag team match for the tag team championships as the Shield and the Usos attempted to take the tag team copper from the Rhodes boys. You see
yes,
there's the Broads.
I saw that. That was
because they're brothers and the Rhodes.
Yes,
Broads.
That was very creative on your part.
You can leave the H in there if you like.
Okay, well, thank
Only
you.
one H.
That's fine. There's two in mine, but that's different. Great match, great opener. How often do you...
There's two H's in your name?
Yeah. No, two R's.
I said H's.
You're getting off track, okay? Great opener. Too good of an opener. Too much stuff that happened in the opener should never happen in an opener. They gave everything away in the first match. Thank God they had filler after that, where they had the Miz and Kane and the Wyatts.
Don't forget Summer Rae's big match.
And then you had Khali and Fandango and Natty and Summer Rae, because the crowd was so elevated, so into it, so invested, that should have been... I mean, that match could have closed the pay-per-view. It was that good.
And of course it could have, because the superstar, the
Goldust, yes,
the future
the
of the business, along with his brother, a legend in the business, Cody Rhodes, delivered as they always do.
What's nice is when you have athletic guys like the Shield and Usos in the ring with a guy like Goldust, who understands ring psychology.
Kane also came back, as you alluded to a moment ago, David, here on WWE Hell in a Cell. Looks like he wants to get some revenge on not only the Wyatts, but also the Miz.
Poor Miz. He's no longer must-see, is he?
Miz has had a horrible week.
He's had a horrible year.
He ended it with a RKO just last night on SmackDown.
Yeah.
But that's WWE Hell in a Cell. In summary, David Hero, this pay-per-view that you watched and live tweeted, was it a pass or a fail? Was it worth $55?
Yes, it was worth it. The opening match was fantastic. I liked the drama with Triple H and Shawn Michaels in the Hell in the Cell in the main event, and I thought that Ryback and Punk had a passable match.
Well, that's WWE Hell in a Cell this past Sunday night on pay-per-view. Up next on the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime, Damian Sandow cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase this past Monday night, but was he successful in his chances or in his cash-in against John Cena? Find out all the details coming up next. Is TNA Wrestling up for sale? Reports are all over the place that the company is looking for buyers, and we have exclusive details on what's going on with that story. We've also got this week's DWHS Hot News, the Event Center, and the Little Things with Ardo Ocal. All that and more when we come back right here on My 24 Milwaukee.
Who do you trust when buying your jewelry? Brad Yulberg here, and I can tell you at Robert Hack Diamonds, we will treat you fair and like family. We have thousands of diamonds in stock, thousands of pieces of jewelry, and prices from under $50 to over $50,000. Come to Robert Hack Diamonds for a relaxed and enjoyable jewelry buying experience. Shop around before you buy. Robert Hack Diamonds is located at 76th and Layton and Greenfield, and our new location on the corner of Green Tree and Port Washington Road in Glendale.
Come to Robert Hack Diamonds.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night special Halloween edition. What'd you do for Halloween on Thursday, David?
You know, I was watching TNA Impact Wrestling on Thursday.
Were you really?
Yeah.
It was taped, you know.
You know what was funny is Cal and his little buddy Luke Newman were over at the house handing out candy apples, but
They didn't have the gimmicks in them, did they?
No, what they did is they actually caramel dipped onions and handed onions out to the kids.
It's time for this week's WWE Raw report, actually. I almost went SmackDown there. And big news coming out of Raw this past Monday night, David Hero. It kicked off with John Cena back on Raw for the first time in months. That would lead to Damian Sandow
First
coming
time
out
in months, a
on
month
Raw.
and a half.
Which is plural.
Okay.
It's more than 1 month, right?
Well, I guess you round up at 0.5.
Sandow comes out. He's got some words for John Cena, and then he's got some brutality for John Cena as well as he attacks him brutally, focusing on that arm, and then he cashes in the Money in the Bank briefcase, does Damian Sandow. It seemed obvious that there would be a brand new World Heavyweight Champion at that point until they went to commercial.
Who goes to a commercial break when you cash in? On live TV.
They did.
I didn't care for that.
Damian Sandow, John Cena, they actually have a pretty tremendous matchup, by the way. However, it would be only the third person in history to cash in and not win a championship, being defeated by the last person to cash in and not win the championship, John Cena.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. John Cena was the first one to not do it, and Sandow didn't do it. Who else didn't do it? He never got the chance to cash it in.
He never cashed it in, did he?
No, he lost it to Edge.
He never cashed it in, right?
No.
Thank you.
But
number 3.
Amazing how much of a good match it was considering John Cena only had one arm.
Let's get right to the point. Did John Cena and WWE bury Damian Sandow this past Monday night?
I think they did.
Really?
I really do.
They didn't make him stronger by a great showing against Superman John Cena
but
in a great matchup.
But he couldn't beat a one-armed man. And
it wasn't an ass-kicking contest.
John Cena beat him with one attitude adjustment.
2.
It was really 1.
It was 2. 1 was earlier in the matchup. Yes, not in succession.
And it just, Damian Sandow had a great showing. Super impressed. I honestly thought there was a chance he was going to win the match. But obviously, they need John Cena on the SmackDown brand. They need John Cena to be a champion. They need him to try to elevate guys. Not sure if Damian Sandow was elevated or not, because how do you bring Sandow back into the title picture now?
The Wyatts have some, they had some problems with a couple of people on Raw this past Monday night. We're going to talk about that after Primetime and PWR Extra.
What?
The Wyatts. A lot happened on Raw, and we're out of time, David Hero, because it's time for this week's Robert Hack Diamond.
Yes, this week's Robert Hack Diamond of the Ring is the new World Heavyweight Champion, John Cena, the guy that comes back from a torn tricep.
Wasn't this meniscus?
Months early. Meniscus is in your knee. Tricep.
Well,
comes back, trains, says his prayers, eats his vitamins, has a heck of a match with the evil Alberto Del Rio, defeats him at the pay-per-view Hell in a Cell, then goes on and with one arm defeats Money in the Bank winner Damian Sandow to then go to SmackDown and have another fantastic match on the SmackDown brand. 3 strong matches from John Cena this week. He is this week's Robert Hack Diamond of the Ring, the place that pays cash for gold. What's so funny?
Have you seen yourself in this costume?
This was a gift. Dixie appreciates the love and attention I gave her last week.
Talk about this past last night's WWE Smackdown, where we found out, as we actually did this past Wednesday at WWE.com, but we saw it on SmackDown as well. Big Show has been banned from WWE for life.
Yeah.
He's suing WWE, at least in storyline purposes, as we found out this past Monday night. He came down, did some damage on Monday night as well. Well, Triple H announcing that he is now banned from WWE for life. Where's this going? What's the end game?
Eventually, it's going to be Triple H and Big Show in a match.
Really?
Yeah, it has to.
Those are the kind of people Triple H wrestles?
Well, I also think Randy Orton and Big Show will have a match as well. But eventually, they're going to get to Triple H and Big Show. It has to. That's where the payoff is ultimately going to be.
Huh.
Where it'll be Big Show's house on the line against his career or something like that.
Will the house be on a pole?
Have you seen Big Show's house? I doubt
Not
it.
actually. I haven't been there in a while.
Okay.
WWE Tag Champion John Cena, your Diamond of the Ring, teamed with the Broads.
You love that, don't
The
you?
Broadses, Cody and Dustin, to take on Damian Sandow and the Real Americans in a six-man tag team match. Speaking of Real Americans, they got a win over the Broads this past Monday night on Raw. The Miz, well, he tried to have Miz TV where his guest was going to be Shawn Michaels. However, his real guest was the soul of Randy Orton's, Randy Orton's RKO.
The Miz is not awesome anymore, is he?
He's barely existent this week on WWE programming.
He used to be must-see WWE champion. He beat John Cena in the main event of WrestleMania.
You finally admit this.
Well, he did.
Impressive.
After a rock bottom from The Rock.
Is this building to a Daniel Bryan HBK matchup?
Absolutely not.
No?
There's no way.
Why not?
Shawn Michaels ended with The Undertaker. He's not coming back for Daniel Bryan.
I think you're going to eat those words.
Oh, fine. I'm sure. I won't.
Speaking of eating, let's go on over to Linda in Studio B for this week's event center.
Did you see her costume?
Actually, I
Trick
helped
or
her get
treat.
into that costume.
Did you?
Yeah, you're supposed to help her get out of it. Linda, take it away.
Welcome to the PWR Event Center, brought to you by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. GLCW Blizzard Brawl 9 is coming up in just a few weeks, and it is promising to be the biggest event ever. In recent weeks, we announced that WWE Hall of Famers Howard Finkel and Ron Simmons, TNA stars Ken Anderson and Joseph Park will be a part of the annual event. And tonight, we are pleased to announce yet another name. He is one half of the TNA Tag Team Champions, and he will also be live at Blizzard Brawl 9. We are pleased to welcome Robbie E. A portion of the Blizzard Brawl 9 proceeds will benefit the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, and you can get your tickets now online at blizzardbrawl.com. The PWR team is coming to Pittsburgh for the 2014 WWE Royal Rumble along with Big Sexy Kevin Nash. Join the PWR team and Nash at a special meet and greet and question and answer session at Latitude 40, located in Pittsburgh. Not only can you meet Nash, but you will have the chance to ask him your very own questions. All the details and tickets can be found at pwrshow.com, and we will see you at the Royal Rumble. And that's it for this week's Event Center presented by Gruber Law Offices. And now let's go to Ardo Ocal with this week's edition of The Little Things.
Thank you very much, guys. Here it is, another edition of The Little Things. While the superstars were standing on stage during Randy Orton's WWE Championship celebration, first of all, why was Curtis Axel there in full gimmicks, in full attire? He wasn't cleared to compete at the pay-per-view, but he's in his wrestling gear on Raw, standing on stage? I don't know about that one. The Wyatt family were on a rampage for the entire episode of Raw, and they're standing on stage as well. Presumably, if you're another superstar, you don't want to necessarily be standing beside them because they've been beating up a lot of people on Raw. So that was a little fishy as well, but they were at least off to the side, so we can accept that. We can make that a pass. Now, the Big Show comes down to the ring, interrupts the celebration. Not only does his music play, but he has a new t-shirt for sale at WWEshop.com, by the way. I don't work for WWE, I just said that off the top of my head. But why does he have a new t-shirt? Why is his music playing if he's fired? I never understood these things. If somebody is fired, to me, the best logical thing to happen would be for them to come through the crowd. But nevertheless, it did happen that way. One final thing, CM Punk locks the Anaconda Vice on Ryback, and the table that is half broken at this point is interrupting the shot. It's in the way of Ryback selling the Anaconda Vice, so CM Punk kicks it away. Nice little production note for you there. Check out my articles on the Baltimore Sun. I have exclusive interviews with Damian Sandow and Fandango, and follow me on Twitter at Arda_Ocal. Hashtag The Little Things.
Much Ardo Ocal from the great white north. I thought maybe he'd be dressed up like a moose.
I thought he was going to be a wampa.
Still to come, though, tonight on the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time. We discussed the reports that TNA Wrestling is up for sale, and we have details on, what we've heard as far as who some of the buyers might be. We've also got this week's hot news, looking at the top stories in wrestling, but before all that, Let's go to David Hero and find out what's on his mind with this week's DHS. Take it away, Dave.
Monday Night Raw saw the downfall of two of the IWC's favorite stars, Daniel Bryan and Damian Sandow. Daniel Bryan was taken right out of the WWE title picture on Raw after a savage beatdown by the Wyatts that resulted in a storage cabinet crashing into his noggin, leaving him to be ambulanced out of Raw and out of the title picture. Since winning the Money in the Bank, Damian Sandow has not been very effective. He has yet to have a strong victory over anyone of late, and when he finally cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase against the one-armed man, John Cena, he also fell very short. Yes, the match was tremendous and entertaining, but how does Sandow pick up the pieces and become a viable threat again to the world title? The WWE told their WWE universe that the stars they like are not A-plus players, and proved it by taking them both out of title pictures. And with that, David Hero has spoken.
Promotional consideration paid for by the
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, the insurance company may try to stop you from getting what's fair.
After my car wreck, the insurance company tried to stop me from getting what was fair. I called Gruber Law Offices.
Be careful. Call us right away.
They better be careful. Now I've got Gruber Law Offices.
Call us. Let us get started on your case right now.
They green-lighted my case and got me $100,000.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Call 276-6666.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night. Damian Nelson sitting here alongside David Hero, and the show continues with this week's TNA Impact Wrestling Report. What's your problem?
Nothing. I'm just curious as to how you're going to spin Impact. Make me like I'm bashing. I'm wearing Dixie Carter's very own T-shirt today.
Well, we did not see AJ Styles on Impact this past Thursday night because last Thursday night, AJ quote-unquote walked out of TNA. And subsequently has been announced that he will be wrestling in Mexico for AAA as the TNA World Champion.
Do you think he drove there? I mean, he left with the car.
Well, they were, where were they, in Cleveland or Utah?
No, they were in Salt Lake City.
Utah.
I mean, that's a heck of a drive. He could do it, though.
Well, it's worth the drive from what I understand. He stopped at the Briscoes' places on the way.
Gotcha. So he's going to be in Mexico, and he's going to be over in the UK, I'm guessing. Maybe go to Japan.
Sure. I like it.
I thought he said he was bringing the belt to the people.
Now, a lot of people are saying that this is very, very similar, almost too similar to what WWE, CM Punk, Vince McMahon did when he won the WWE Championship in 2011, I believe it was, had Money in the Bank.
No, Punk just put the belt in the refrigerator.
He did put the belt in the refrigerator and sent out pictures of that, but he also did show up at some independent wrestling shows. He showed up at a comic book festival, I believe it was, as well. Mm-hmm. And he had gone rogue with the WWE Championship. Are these similarities that are being brought up fair and valid for this story?
Absolutely it is. Because it's only been a couple years since Punk did that. Mm-hmm. And it's almost identical.
Do they know it is?
Of course they do. I mean, let's not forget, the people that write TNA also watch Raw and Smackdown. They know what the competition is doing.
Conversely, I would venture to say that the WWE knows what TNA is.
Not really.
Wrestling
No, they don't. They really don't.
Speaking of don't, Eric Bischoff is reportedly don't got no job no more with TNA.
He's still getting paid, but he's just not there. It's like Linda.
Is this a loss for TNA? Now Hogan's gone, now Bischoff is gone.
I don't know. I mean, everything I've been hearing is Jeff Jarrett's on his way back, and Jeff Jarrett and Eric Bischoff.
On his way. He's been backstage.
But more power coming his way. And Eric Bischoff was never a true fan of Jeff Jarrett, so maybe that way is going to be passing soon. And, TNA, for all the changes they've made, there's still more coming. There's still a lot of different things coming down the pike.
We'll get to one of those things in hot news. As you saw on Impact this past Thursday night, Magnus won a gauntlet match. He got a spot in the 8-man tournament to become the #1 contender. The tournament will actually determine who the new TNA World Champion is. As Dixie, she told us on Impact
that she
removed.
That means now they got a new belt made.
Well, AJ took it. They can get They could just use a replica. They sell those, right?
No, but listen, whoever wins the world champion is not a replica champion. He's not going to want to have a replica belt.
Bobby Roode defeated Kurt Angle on Impact this past Thursday again.
Well, you know.
And no Bully Ray.
Well, Bully Ray needs some time off
Nux
TV.
was the only Aces and Eights members we saw. I mean,
and let's not forget, but let's not forget, though, the Bromans beat James Storm and Gunner again. Again. That team is on fire.
That they are. That's this week's Impact Wrestling Report, ladies and gentlemen. It's now time for this week's Hot News, which are all the headlines you need in around 60 seconds or less, for those of you who are still keeping score at home. Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer is reporting that TNA Wrestling is for sale. Meltzer said on a recent audio show that, and I quote, "There's lots of moves. There's a lot of moves that are being done behind the scenes. There's people looking to get in, and I think the Carters are looking to get out. They have been looking to get out for a while." PWR has also heard these same reports and even has heard of some of the names of people interested in purchasing the company. While these names are indeed legit, no official news will be available until after an official bid for the company is made. This is very similar, David Hero, to when WCW was put up for sale. Remember, Eric Bischoff put together a group, was going to buy it. I think that was at Fusient Media Ventures or what have you. Several people had expressed interest, but it wasn't like it got put on eBay and was listed for sale. It wasn't until someone had bid on it that it became public, and ultimately WWE would buy it for some $12 million, I believe was the number.
$2 million.
3, 4, something like that. How much do you think TNA would go for? Maybe they should put it on eBay.
I think the company's only valued at $5 million.
Due to the deal with Spike?
No, it's for all the extra inventory on T-shirts and merchandise they have.
Well, I mean, if you keep buying them.
Well, I used the PWR show card for this.
I'm sure you did. The Black MX?
Yes. Well, what other one would I use?
That's this week's Hot News, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for that.
Dixieland.
It's now time for Ring of Honor news. Ring of Honor this past Saturday night had a big show called Glory by Honor. It was the 12th edition of that from the Frontier Fieldhouse in Chicago Ridge, Illinois. Quick match results. Silas Young defeated Mark Briscoe. Jimmy Jacobs gets a win over Adam Page.
That's a big win for Silas.
Absolutely.
Milwaukee home.
Mike Bennett defeated Kevin Steen, and this match was billed as Pile Driver versus Pile Driver. Now, we talked about last week how Lisa Marie Varan, formerly known as Tara in WWE, I'm sorry, in TNA, and Victoria in WWE, she came out and actually attacked Maria during this matchup, who was, of course, aligned with Mike Bennett, and she hit her with the Widow's Peak. Also, Steve Corino made his return to Ring of Honor Wrestling this past Saturday night. Tommaso Ciampa defeated Jesse Sorensen. Jesse Sorensen making his debut with Ring of Honor. He was checked on by the medics after the matchup, but of course, he waved them off. The crowd was very, very,
It's amazing how a guy with a broken neck would go to Ring of Honor.
The team of Homicide and Eddie Kingston defeated Adrenaline Rush, which is ACH and Tadarius Thomas. Paul London also defeated Roderick Strong with the Shooting Star Press. Big win for London there. And then in a matchup whose concept I've never quite heard of before, it was the All-Stars versus the ROH Champions. This match went about an hour and a half, David Hero. That's Broadway plus off-Broadway. Ultimately...
oh my God, how did the crowd last that long?
Michael Elgin pinned Adam Cole, which means he'll get a shot at the champion Cole in the future. Ring of Honor big event in Chicago Ridge last Saturday night. They're going to be back in Chicago Ridge on March 8th, 2014. That's this week's Ring of Honor report. And by the way, David Hero, that's what they call a show. I am so proud of you for supporting Ms. Carter and her efforts.
She needs help.
Now, are you also on the Dixie train, or you're the head conductor of the Dixie train?
Yes, I'm the head conductor.
What are your job duties necessarily with that role?
I make sure the tracks are always clear.
For that one, ladies and gentlemen, this is Damian Nelson saying thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of the Pro Wrestling Report. We will see you next Saturday night right back here on My 2401.